God told me that this movement was going to be 100 years, whatever that means exactly, but the world is going to change over the next 100 years. The whole face of the whole earth, religion, the way that things are, countries, ruling power, everything. Every single thing is going to change over the next 100 years. And this message that God gave me, the message that God gave me was how to get in contact with Him. To do that, you have to do nothing and strip everything off of yourself. You have to rely on God. You have to get rid of Christianity. Christianity ended. I've got plenty of videos explaining that. It ended in 70 AD. It says it all throughout the Bible, right there, as plain as day, as plain as the nose on our face. It's already done. But the next 100 years is going to be major. The message that God gave me is how you get in touch with God now. Every single person would have access to God if they would stop denying the access that they have by their religion. Going back to Christianity gets you out of access to God because Christ already fulfilled everything. Being a Muslim, a Jew, Hindu, all this stuff, believing all these different things rather than just God. And the message is to get back to God. He'll talk to you without your flesh. He'll talk to you in dreams. Whenever you give up everything, God will talk to you. And if enough people believe, there will be power in the earth. He told me, are there enough who believe to manifest God? But what's going to happen because you guys hate, you're full of hate, your hearts are full of hate, it's disgusting what's going to happen. Because the way the world is, you can't even tell that this message is true. You've got almost 2 billion Muslims, you've got like 2.4 billion Christians, and you've got millions of Jews that actually control most of the world. Through Jerusalem, through them, through Israel. They control most of the world. They control the Christians. The Christians think that they're the chosen people of God whenever they killed Christ, and then Christ killed them and ended that whole world and that whole covenant. And because you guys don't believe the access, you don't believe what Christ did, you don't know that we have this access to God, and you can be in God by getting rid of everything and doing nothing. You get rid of everything that you have, all the religion, all the belief, everything, and you fall into the hands of God. That's the message that I have, is to get people into the hands of God and how to get access to Him and how to get people to submit to God, their whole being, their whole life. Just God only. If you know about the Bible, then yeah, you need to know that it's true. Christ fulfilled everything. It says it right there. If you don't know about the Bible, simply strip away any religion that you might have. Get in touch with God. Just access to God. It's between you and Him. I have nothing to give you after that. Whatever you and God do together, that's up to you. That's between you and His conscience. But the next 100 years, a lot of people are going to come into this. My girlfriend had a dream the other night. And we had all these things in our hands. We had things in our hands and all around us. And she said, well, this is weird. It was like different things that she couldn't, she didn't know what they were. Because it's a new thing, which is actually an old thing. But it's new to our minds. And she said, this is weird. And I was in the dream with her, and I said, that's even weirder. And she looked up, and she said it was like 1,000,000 rockets in the sky. But there was none in front of us. They were all behind us. They were following where we went, right? All these rockets were following us and moving slowly with us. Because this message is supposed to be preached. And you who do not hear it and do not believe it, you sick, twisted people that are about to cause a war, and you're going to kill many children. You're going to say, well, I'm not part of that. I don't even believe in war. You're still part of the religion that brought it. Christianity is not a good tree. It does not bear good fruit. It came from very wicked, wicked people these days. All right, the whole thing. If you look at anybody who set up Christianity, there was not a good one. There was not one that wasn't a murderer, that wasn't an adulterer, that wasn't that thief. They did all these things. They stole, they murdered, all of it. That's how Christianity got here. Genocide and everything. That's how this Christianity got here, because old Christianity ended. And this war, you're going to think it's the end of the world. You guys are going to think that Christ is returning. You're going to think that an Antichrist is coming. You're going to think that a third temple is being built because you didn't believe what Christ fulfilled, and that now Christianity is done and we have access to God. So because of that, there's going to be this war over the temple, revolved around the temple, is what I mean by that. And it's going to be so intense with religious belief between the Muslims thinking that that's their place where the Dome of the Rock is and that they're from Abraham, and the Jews who think that a real Messiah has to come and the end of the world's coming, and the Christians who think that temple has to be built so the man of sin can sit in the temple of God, which already happened. Paul told that to the Thessalonians. The man of sin sat in the temple of God, and Christ destroyed him with the brightness of his coming and the word of his mouth. That already happened. So because of this, you are part of this war, and you're going to cause it. God doesn't want it to happen. That's why this message is being preached. Get out of this, because this war, whenever Christ does not return, whenever there's not a temple rebuilt and instead the Jews are destroyed and the Muslims are destroyed and the Christians are destroyed, nobody is ever going to submit to Islam. This world will not be ruled by Islam. Okay? Not going to happen. Christianity, people are going to say, well, it didn't happen. Christ didn't return. We've heard this our whole life, and that's going to sit in them, and they're going to realize that everybody was a liar this long, and Christianity is finally going to fall out of the world. And the world's going to change. If we want it to change for the better, we have to change it for the better and get people to start submitting to God. If you know about the Bible, if you know about the Quran, if you know about Jesus, you got to tell the truth about him and then know that he fulfilled everything and get in touch with God. If you don't know about that, just get in touch with God, fall into the Creator's hands, and that's it. But this is going to change the whole entire world. I think it's interesting how Christ came at the age of Pisces. That's why we have the Jesus fish now. I'm not really into astrology and all that, but I mean, according to the Bible, maybe we should be, because God is the one who created it. It moves in his cycles. That's his time. That's like his clock. You know, we have our clocks. God has his clock, which is a whole universe moving and shifting. And Christ came in the time of Pisces. That's why we have the Jesus fish on the cars. And now this message is being preached as we're transitioning into the age of Aquarius. This message is being preached, and Christianity is about to fall. Christianity is going to fall out of government, and it's going to all but disappear. You know, there's still going to be Christians, I'm sure, but it is not going to be the ruling power and the majority and all this stuff. And it's because of this war that you guys are creating, because of your bloodlust, because of your evil, wicked hearts. You're fine with this. Your soldiers, your Christian soldiers are going to go to war, and your Muslim soldiers are going to go to war, and your Jewish soldiers are going to go to war. And that's over half the world's population. And it's going to affect every single country because of it. It's going to affect the economy in every place in the world. It's going to affect everything. And God is bringing all this on you, on this earth, because of this sin of the last 2,000 years, of rejecting what Christ did, not having a good enough heart to even look around and know that it's all done, it's all over, and that this Christianity and this Islam and this Judaism and these religions cannot be what God wanted. So everything is about to change, but if I'm a dreamer, you know, I always have been. I want us to stop this war. Do I think that'll happen? Logically, no. But I only think that it won't happen because people won't listen and they won't start submitting to God. If we could get enough people to submit to God, we could change this, and it wouldn't have to happen. If you guys could tell everybody, if you would go out and tell everybody and get them to understand that we can have access to God and we're not judged by our flesh. That's between you and God. Just get back to God and the access that each individual would have if we stop stifling it by other beliefs that are contrary to the way the world is today. So, I believe that this could happen. I don't think that it will. I think this war is going to have to come because you guys won't believe. You won't have good hearts. You won't listen. This war is going to have to come, and you created it. It's not something that God wants. And it's going to be super bloody, and the whole earth is going to change, and it's going to take 100 years for this to happen and for it to set back up to where the world's even something to behold, to look at again. It's what this war is going to bring, the catastrophe, the death, the everything. it's going to be everything on top of everything, guys. There's going to be pandemics, wars, you name it, everything. People are going to think it's the end of the world, but that is the judgment of God. Because you think that and you brought all this on by your lies. So he's going to allow you to believe it's the end of the world, and then it's not going to happen, and you guys are going to fall out and lose out with God. You know? Get back in touch with God. The whole world's about to change. It's starting now, and this message, it's behind this message. This message is going out. People, you've heard it. You've heard it. If you have a good heart, you want other people to hear it. You don't want to just sit there and say, oh, thank God I heard this. What about all the other people that are still stuck? If this message is great for you, you got to get the other people. I can only do what I can do. He's shown me it's not just going to be me. These videos are not going just because of me. I can't lift this into my house by myself. I saw that. I can't lift this sewing machine. It's too heavy. Sewing machine is us creating something. The clothes are the way. Like, you'll see clothes in a vision or something if you have a job, if you're doing this, if you're doing that. Your clothes is what you put on for what's happening. And this sewing machine is what's happening in the world. It is up to us to tell everybody and to get them to follow God. He will talk to them. He'll give them dreams. We can have power in the world again. This is what we need. This message is going out, and according to her dream, these rockets are following right behind it. So, this war and everything's going to happen. But this message is first. God sent this. He's merciful. We need to get millions of people to understand. We can change this. It's disgusting. I don't know how everybody's okay with it. I don't understand humans. The war that's going to happen is completely sick. And everybody's involved in it. This isn't what God wants. It's up to us to make it more of a utopia. Actually, what God wants to happen.